An active engagement by Europeans is needed for the security of Hormuz. America has shifted its strategy of conditioning Iran from that of the hawk, pressure through destruction, to that of the boa constrictor, suffocation, through a naval blockade of departures and arrivals in Iranian ports and the pursuit and seizure of enemy, commercial, ships on the high seas. This choice, besides the priority of avoiding risky land operations, stems from the need to save offensive assets and related costs while at the same time increasing pressure on Tehran by denying it financial resources. The hawk strategy remains useful for deterrence, but only as a last resort option. Among analysts, the idea prevails that the boa strategy is effective not only against Iran, but also in convincing China, heavily damaged, to exert more pressure on Iran for a surrender. In this context, there is a relevant element affecting the strategic choices of Europeans in relation to the duration of the crisis. Washington aims at a slow strangulation to make Tehran accept its conditions. But if the resolution of the crisis were very slow, Europeans and many Asians would have to face an energy scarcity crisis generating inflation already by late May, with a heavy recessionary peak in the summer. I have no data on the resilience of the Arab/Sunni Gulf nations, but hearing their confidential complaints, I believe their calculations point to economically catastrophic scenarios if the Hormuz blockade, due to the continuity of the Iranian threat, were to last more than a few months. Moreover, a very active and discreet action by China can be seen, aiming to fill the geopolitical space of influence made contestable by America's insufficient respect for the economic security needs of its allies. Simplifying, the claim that America is in no hurry to close the case, even considering the advantage of increasing global dependence on its oil and gas, is dangerous for the allies and of doubtful benefit for America itself. Solutions? A high-impact geopolitical crisis in the form of scarcity of systemically relevant materials such as energy has geopolitical solutions, not financial ones. For Europeans and Italy, generating debt to counter inflation can only be a short-term solution. Therefore, Europeans are left with the option of reconverging with America to reopen Hormuz. Possible? The Euro-American divergence is strong, but the risk of an economic crisis for Europeans is too high. Therefore, the most rational solution is the activation of an engagement by a coalition of Europeans and Pacific allies for the security of the Hormuz Channel, integrating U.S. forces, which are insufficient to do it alone and only sufficient for a naval blockade far from the coasts. The idea is already being studied by the Euro coalition of the willing, with the interest of dozens of Pacific and Arab Sunni Gulf nations. How? America should add to the naval blockade a security corridor for non-Iranian transits, and Europeans and other Pacific allies should send security assets to defend it. This solution would be of maximum advantage/minimum risk for Italy.